This is the second episode of Confessions of an Ag Teacher Educator, um, specifically in our youth development series. So today in AE 311 was the second class session, and I think that we accomplished most of the goals we wanted to accomplish. First thing that our goal was today was clarity, because we introduced some new concepts in 311 that aren't the same for other classes. For example, this year I'm trying to do Pink Days, based on Daniel Pink's book Drive and how do we solicit internal motivation. And so we talked a little bit about what that assignment looks like and what does it mean to have 5 days where you're responsible for your own learning and have to report back and have to evaluate yourself. So that was exciting. So in the past, I have to admit that this is an addition from student feedback because I did not like, I don't like reading to people. And so I make a very exhaustive assignment handbook and syllabus that I provide to the students online. And I'm like, oh, I don't need to read it to them. But there was still so much angst because they're used to perhaps being spoon-fed in some ways. I don't know. But I realized that the angst the learner was feeling was outweighing the time I was saving by not doing it. So now I always provide 15, 20 minutes of the second class. I don't like doing it the first class period. I haven't given them time to review the syllabus and the assignment handbook. Okay, straight up, what questions do you have? And so they can write them on a note card and they put them in a bucket, and then I go through the bucket of questions to keep it anonymous. And I think we worked through that pretty good. Then we got to start digging more into some depth, right? Like we had 4 questions to answer. Why is leadership development in youth important? What activities or organizations contribute to your leadership development? How did those organizations do that? You know, what were the things that you accomplished that caused that to happen? And what are the characteristics of an effective youth leader? And so we had the students go through a process and a learning framework and structure to answer those 4 questions and then share with their colleagues. And then finally we did something different there. We did a graffiti moment. And so the different groups shared out the graffiti of their answer. I'll be sharing those pictures across Twitter here later. But I thought it was pretty cool. A neat thing to work through. And then finally we ended up with theory. And the students had homework coming into this class to identify a theory about adolescent youth development that they believed in, and then why. And they reported that, and we're going to have to continue to build on that on Tuesday. As a teacher, one of the things I need to continually work on is my timing. Or perhaps I just plan too much than we can accomplish in the time given. And they were having such a great conversation on answering those 4 questions and with the graffiti moment and then unpacking that, and that I slowed down and didn't accomplish perhaps everything that I had originally planned for today. But as we talk about a lot, our goal is not to cover things, but rather learn things. Cats cover things in a litter box, so we're not trying to do that. We're trying to learn about positive youth development. The funny moment of today's class is another one of those moments where I realize, I guess, that I live on the East Coast and not in the West anymore, and that students aren't familiar or backgrounded in animal identification methods of hot iron branding, because I had to convince them, we were doing a graffiti moment and they were mentioning FFA, and so I went to and drew this on there, right? Pretty awesome. I'm like, yeah, that's it. And they're like, what is that? I'm all, hello, that's an FFA brand. That's freaking awesome. And they didn't believe it. Like, why didn't you close it? I'm like, yeah, if you closed it, then the hair burns off and falls, and you just have a big old scab. But it was just funny for me to think about how I used to teach in Wilcox and how students would come off, and that's part of their life, is living and working on ranches, and then to introducing the concept of hot iron branding as a way to do graffiti. I don't know. It was one of the funny moments for me today, so I shared out over Twitter the picture of Nicole Hogue, one of my best students, holding up a shirt the students designed that said Wilcox with the brand, and this brand is going places. So all in all, a great day. Thanks for watching on this reflection of Confessions of an Ag Teacher Educator. I'm going to try to do this fall and after every class session. And so if something interests you or if you want to collaborate, never be afraid to email me at foster@psu.edu or tweet me at FosterDanielD. Thank you.